Hello, my name is David from LabStar Software, and I'm joined today by Jesus Romero from Bella Vita Dental Design. And today we're going to be talking about what is the best way for dental labs to communicate and collaborate with their doctors. So tell me a little bit about your lab. Kind of what type of work do you guys do? How many people are in your lab?
So we are Bella Vita Dental Designs. We have been, for the most part, Crown and Bridge for over 30 years, but now shifting everything towards digital. So what we're doing is we're trying to get everything. All of our doctors, 100% of them, have the ability to send us digital scans, and then that's how we will coordinate and work with them. So everyone has the ability to do their own stuff, but we kind of do the hard work, the hard stuff. And then there we have a couple of doctors that have just like DI cameras that are sent to us, and we do 100% of their work. But everything's kind of wrapped around digital, down to our partials and dentures, and diagnostic wax ups. Everything we try to have, for the most part, model free, and keep going as much of the digital route as we can.
Awesome. How important is communications with your clients for your lab, whether it's digital or in-person communication?
Yeah, huge. So like I mentioned, all of our doctors are digital. And so then that means for the most part in our area, so we're in Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I would say we're about 20% of our work is within, 20 minutes of, where we're at. The other 80% is a couple of hours or more. So the digital and just communication in general is huge. So the communication has to start, as a collaborative effort. Our goal and our mission is to work with the doctor to make a great restoration or a great product for the patient. So we need to work as a team effort. And so that's where a lot of the communication comes in. Hey, they'll even contact us before even starting a case saying, hey, what do I need to do to kind of get the ball rolling for this? I'm going to send you this either next week, or I have the patient in the chair now. What do I need before sending it off? And kind of we'll get communication started there. But communication from top to bottom is in a realm of different ways. Our phones are our number one source of communication, from text messaging to photos to FaceTiming, even patients, while we have them in the chair, kind of meeting or setting expectations, knowing what we're going to do, listening to what they want, and kind of what the doctor wants to accomplish, kind of getting the whole game plan on there. So it's a smooth sailing throughout the entire case. So communication is huge for us. All of our doctors have all of our cell phone numbers. They have all of our emails. They have the office phone. We have no short line of communication. So we should be able to get a hold of us at any moment.
So probably pretty rare for you to ever make a crown without having some kind of back and forth with a doctor.
Right. Without any dialogue. We should, for the most part, like if it's a, onesie twosies and they just kind of put the notes on there, we know what they like, a couple of those, but for the most part, yeah, there are notes, there are printouts, and actually one of the reasons I don't have a voicemail set up is because I want them to say, hey, all right, I need to text him and say, what do we want in the instructions? I don't want to make sure I don't miss anything. I'll reply back to him, hey, I'm in a meeting or something, or hey, I just saw you called, give me a call back. But I want some dialogue, and then I'll screenshot those ones, print them out, and it goes with that case. So we have receipts with them. We know kind of what what the expectations are for this case.
Awesome. How often in general, like maybe a doctor hasn't sent you a case in a while, or maybe they send you cases regularly, but do you have like a kind of set amount of time of how often you reach out to doctors? Like, we want to talk to them. at least once a week or at least once a month, if, depending on sending cases or not sending cases? Do you have a set rule for that?
Yeah, it kind of depends as well. What we'd like to do is we want to have our regular doctors that will send us work. Either they don't want to do zirconia in house, so they'll send us more doctors who are kind of once in a while. We'll just do same day smiles with them. Maybe it's one a year, two a year with them that are large cases that we go there in person to do. Sometimes it's just dentures that we'll do 4, 5, or 6 of them in a month or two, and then we don't hear from them for 6 months. But the communication that we try to have is if we haven't heard out from them, reach out to them. A good way of doing that is updating your service menu and just sending them out to them, just kind of throwing out feelers. I don't want to email blast them with a bunch of stuff that they already know that we do, but new stuff that we do, new materials that we have. We do or we'll do study clubs here. We haven't done them this year, obviously because of COVID. But when we have things coming up, hey, we have this coming up. And so just a line of communication to kind of start with. Oh, hey, I've heard that you guys do this. Or they'll reply back, hey, I want to try that new material out with this next case. Or I've been meaning to contact you guys. I didn't know that you guys did, diagnostic wax ups and, they're done digitally. So it's that form of communication, or things that we do. So the latest one that we have kind of going out soon is we're having a luxury line now come up with having a step Toothmaster Bay, with us and doing some of our luxury lines. That's a new department that we've now opened up. So even our doctors that we have now, we'll start introducing them and then trying to get more touch points with them.
Awesome. And you just brought up what I was going to ask you about, or said it, touch points. I've heard you talk about that before in some talks that you've given that I've seen online. And can you explain a little more what touch points mean to you and kind of how you view your philosophy of touch points with doctors?
Yeah. So it learned, or I picked it up a lot with when I was working with the Padres beforehand, and that there's to sell someone, whether it be a new product or something that you've already had, they don't normally get it on the first touch point. The first, one touch point would be, or a touch point could be face-to-face. It could be an email, could be a text message. It's any form of communication. So a lot of times people don't get sold on the first time, similar to, let's just say if you have a new client, and you go there and drop off some information, it's not like they're going to say, hey, I know you just dropped off some information. We'd love to try you guys out. Rarely does that happen. So it follows up hey, I dropped off some information. I hope you got it. Let me know if you have any questions. Hey, I said, and then, the next one might be a phone call and saying, hey, I sent you an email and I also dropped off this information. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't gotten to that, and that's 3 touch points. So I think the average is 7 to 11 as far as touch points, and that's kind of a broad range because you might do 2 touch points in a day, sending them an email and then just texting them saying, hey, I sent you an email with some stuff that you might like. Let me know if you're interested, or let me know if you want to set up a lunch and learn, and that sort of stuff. So the touch points are huge. Obviously, the face-to-face ones are the best ones. If you're able to get face-to-face with a doctor, if you're able to see them, even like the local ones here, it's a smaller town, so you're able to see them at the grocery store, at the ball games. I sold, or I got somebody a camera at the ball game. We were talking about it, and he mentioned it, and we went to go grab some food, and I had about 20 minutes with him while we were waiting in line, and just talked to him about it and said, all right, let's meet, next Monday, give me a call, let's set up something. And it was just at the ball game, but it was a touch point. It wasn't, it could have just been, hey, cool, nice to see you.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an official email, or it doesn't have to be an official call to be kind of
Right.
alert to those real life scenarios of
Yeah,
you're kind of outside your
exactly.
lab. And
And even, doctors that you already have a rapport with, it's easy to, if you're in their area, stop by, say hello, make sure things are going well. People are going to give you bad news. I would like them to give me bad news in person and say, hey, this hasn't been going well. Is there something you guys did new, or how can we fix this? That sort of stuff. I want to kind of know in face to face, and they'll tell us that, hey, this has been coming out a little bit light. Can we go a little bit heavier on the contacts? Hey, no problem. We'll put that in your personal parameters. Is that the only thing that was wrong?
okay.
So,
What kind of technology do you use? I know you mentioned a few different things in the very beginning, but kind of what specific tech tools do you use to kind of track these touch points or to directly communicate? I know you said text messaging, cell phone's a big part. Are there any
yeah.
other softwares or specific things you use?
No, in the past, we would have different softwares. We talked about a couple of ones in the past where we would use, what's the one that you guys,
HubSpot, I believe.
HubSpot, yeah. You guys have used that. Excuse me. We haven't used them too much right now, because what we're doing is trying to focus on our doctors that we do have a relationship with already, and trying to expand that and get more of the piece of pie that they have. So
Gotcha.
if we do 20% with them now, how can we do 30% of their work or 40% of the work? We just want a little bit more, and that might be opening up different departments. But in the past, I have used HubSpot to kind of keep track of those ones. But it also depends on our area, and each one of our doctors is different. So we have doctors that don't use us for anything except for conversions. Hey, I don't have an STL conversion, can you convert this for me? And that's all we do with them. Now, we try to let them know, hey, we also do crown and bridges, zirconia, all this other stuff that we can help you out with.
Yeah.
But, hey, we're only doing this. There's rarely, we have a couple of doctors that we might do the same stuff with. And then besides that, everyone else is different. We do just bridges for this person, or just implants for this person. And so it's kind of a wide range. And so my touch points are different with them. They all kind of require their own little, attention, if you will.
And I'm assuming kind of COVID-19 has kind of changed, I'm sure, a little bit or a lot of how you normally communicate and like access those touch points and keep track of everything.
And actually at first, Bill had reached out to all of our doctors, or, just saying, hey, we know, kind of the thing was, we're in this together. And we really were, because we couldn't work without them. And, any of the stuff that we had in-house, we finished up and got to them quickly to kind of help them out before they closed down. And so the communication with it was, had to be, kind of quick. But with that, we kind of reached out. We're just kind of told them, we're like, hey, we're on the same playing field. We are in this together. Let us know if you have any questions, and just more on a personal level. That's kind of how we reached out to a lot of our doctors, and even our labs too. Some ones that are in the same industry, some that we do work for, some that help us out. And we reached out to all of them. Hey, we're all human, and we're all going through this together. Let's see what we can do to help each other out. And that's where it started, making the masks for our doctors, making the mask fitters for our doctors, or making the ear savers for our doctors. That helped them out. And, a lot of the stuff, it was just, hey, we have a 3D printer. How can we help you? And that sort of part of it.
Like you to expand the pie. I know getting more.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, we didn't even know you did printing. All right, cool. Let us help you out with these. And then, by the way, we do other stuff there.
Yeah.
So that was during COVID, it was kind of flipped everyone upside down. And we just kind of tried to make the best of what we could, and see how we can help out in a new, different way.
Do you think it's important for labs to have a specific client liaison or a specific employee that's in charge of kind of building these relationships and collaborating, or is it everybody's responsibility in the lab? What do you think?
No, I think it makes it a lot easier. When I'm the front line of kind of the communication that gets the ball rolling. Like, my job is to bring in work here, whether it be, from Facebook. We're involved with a lot of different groups, like Keep CERECing, and different ones that use different equipment on there, and just different group forums. So when they need help, we'll reach out there. So I do a lot of that stuff, but Kevin and Bill do a great job of that because they can answer a lot of the technical questions.
Gotcha.
Hey, my minimal thickness is messing up. Has anybody else had something to fix this? Or, how do my parameters, how do I save those? How do I make them? And they're able to do that because it's the same, the software is very similar. And then if they have any questions, oh, hey, can I get a service menu or anything from you guys? And then they direct them back to me. And then we go, we kind of start the dialogue, start talking, offer them by doing their, the first crown free, just to kind of check it out and kind of start the dialogue there. I think it helps having one person do it to kind of just keep everything organized. But I think it does, once they do become a client, to kind of get everyone involved, to make sure that, it is a team effort, because, I want Kevin, I don't want them to call me for a technical question, say, here, let me just pass you off to Kevin. He's working on your screw retain crown right now. He can help you out with that.
Yeah, or you're kind of playing point guard, and then the rest of the team comes in. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And that's when a lot of times I can answer a lot of the questions, and then the ones that I can, I'll dish them off to them and see, here, let's see how they can help you out. Whether it be with this specific case, a lot of times it's just information because they want to try and figure it out on their own, or they want to try and do it in-house. And we do a lot of that. We do a lot of helping. What we want to try and do is help before we ask, for your work. We're gonna give before we receive.
Okay. And lastly, I guess what I want to ask you to kind of wrap things up here would be, what advice would you give to any lab that's maybe listening to this going, we need to communicate more with our doctors? Maybe they have some long-term clients that they've just kind of stopped talking to. I mean, they still send them work, but they just don't talk to them, or they're losing people, but they don't know how to start conversations. Any kind of general advice for that?
So starting the conversation's easy, but it's just by picking up the phone. It's just by texting them. It's just by sending them an email. The hardest part is listening, because a lot of the times we want to listen to respond. We're not listening to understand. And that's huge. We want to listen with intent. We want to be intentional when we're listening to them. Hey, I like doing this, but this doesn't work. And a lot of times we want to get defensive, and that's how we are as people. We're trying to be, well, hang on, let me defend this really quick. Instead of saying, hey, you know what? I understand, how, that works. And, I understand how frustrating that could be for you. Have you tried doing this? And have you tried doing that? Giving them, different options, or what happens when you do this, instead of trying to defend your argument. I mean, I think that goes for a lot of things. You could be,
that's good. Yeah.
Just debating, Jordan, LeBron, and, before the other person is talking, well, Jordan has 6 rings, and instead of oh, okay, let me listen to what they say and how can I help them out, or how can I help my point? And I think that's what we need to do a lot with our doctors is listen to them and see what they are wanting. What are they trying to achieve? What are they trying to have you do as a lab that, maybe their current lab isn't doing, or how can you get more by helping them out, a little bit more piece of the pie. How can you do their crown and bridge and their partials and dentures? So I think kind of listening, that's the hardest part. It's easy to start the communication part, but listening is the hard part.
Yeah, and I think communication is always a full circle or two-way street, as opposed to just communicating. We do partials or we do dentures now. There's
Right.
more of
Right.
more to the why they may not be sending it to you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jesus, for your time and your insight, and best of luck continuing on with your communication with your doctors.
Cool. Thank you for having us.
Have a good day.
See ya.